Okay, so as I read the space setting decree, I started getting some information, which in the Akashic readings I do right now generally starts as color. So I was seeing lots and lots of beautiful color. The Akash always uses a certain shade of purple to represent sovereignty and autonomy of the self. So what I was seeing was purple and green. And I was seeing purple kind of swim in on the left side of my vision and green on the right. And then if you want to like kind of almost consider like I've got a screen right here. So half was purple, half is green. And then on either side of those, the opposing color. So like on the big purple part, I'm seeing like green streaks or green raindrops and vice versa on the other side. So what these colors tell us for you is that the current initiation, the current like threshold of transformation that you are in and participating in and actively transmuting the old and creating the new involves purple as in regards to your own like your own full sovereignty. What do you want to do? Accepting the mantle of your anointing of power, if you will. So what I'm seeing is much like with me and a few other women I've done these for, you've gone your whole life um knowing you were here to do big things kind of in the back of your mind, but maybe suppressing that a little bit, not wanting to seem too big or too powerful or too loud or too noticeable. And right now, there's a real push from the loving guidance and support you have in the energetic realms to change that thinking and allow yourself to come fully into all of you and everything you are to do and be here. So purple, you could think of it as like a royal or regal color, but it's not about like the royalty of any kind of a bloodline. It's about coming into the fullness of your sovereignty and of what you intended to do here. The green is initiation into the fullness of the heart of the mother. So I'm seeing like a really beautiful, bright kind of emerald green. The Akash uses this to represent the heart specifically of the three tiers, consciousness tiers of this planetary body that we're on, Gaia, Tara, and Earth. So the heart of the mother is calling you for deeper connection and collaboration to initiate into her work. You already steward the land that you're on. There's going to be a call in answering it, literally answering the mother's call is what I'm supposed to say for this, that will connect you more deeply to both the land that you're on, that you are stewarding, that you live on, that you tend, as well as greater regional bodies of land. So there's kind of what I'm seeing as a time that I feel like you're being called into doing more work with the land, with a specific ley line, grounding into this ley line. Much as like I've seen for a couple other women lately, there's a lot going on with grid work, and how I'm seeing this grid is actually like inner earth or under the surface of the earth. Only it's not just inside the earth, it's or like just underground, the physical ground that we're on. It's where multiple dimensions and realities converge together. And there is a lovely, healthy, energetic grid that supports the convergence and blending of these dimensions and localities and realities. And you are doing pretty significant work in participating and even kind of some supervisory work based on where you live, like energetically, spiritually. This is one of your divine assignments related to the land that you're on, in the region that you're in. So much as I don't feel very well when I'm away from where I am divinely assigned to be, which is Kansas, and I feel fine in Nebraska and Oklahoma most of the time, and Texas, northern Texas, like Dallas. As long as I am on somewhere connected on the ley line, if I'm visiting somewhere connected to this ley line, I do well. I'm seeing what, and the Akash really wanted me to share that detail because I'm seeing that it is likely similar for you, where you like to travel to some degree. But it's better for you right now not to be gone or away for too long because of the intense physical tie, physical, energetic, spiritual body tie to the land, because of the immense and lovely work that you're doing within a higher self version um, of you. So that's interesting. So coming into the fullness of the heart of the mother and allowing and receiving the initiation into a deeper, greater, more expanded level of tending and stewarding the land, both physically and energetically. Does this mean you're supposed to do more farming or more gardening? Not necessarily. The Akash wants to be clear that that is for you. Like how it shows up in your life is up to you. What you, how you choose, how and what you choose to create in regards to this is ultimately your decision. It is important for you to have your hands in the dirt though during the seasons in which that is possible. So more gardening, connecting with the flowers. There's a beautiful, they're showing me a really beautiful blue, like almost a periwinkle. Like it's blue, but it has like a hint of a periwinkle color to it. It's not like just like a royal blue. It's a different lovely blue. It looks a little bit like an iris, but it's not an iris. This is like a flower from another location that is connected deeply to your soul's journey, the quantum journey of your soul. So this flower is a frequency. We don't exactly have this one quite here on earth, but it's a frequency, signature, and essence that you are attuned to, and it is attuned to you. And this beautiful flower is the body, the collective body or collective consciousness or mind and heart song. The song of this flower is inviting you to connect more deeply and more expansively with it, and you're going to remember it. I'm actually seeing you being able to sketch it here in the next like 2 to 3 weeks. This is from one of your origin points, and I say one of because ultimately the Akash wants me to mention that source or God is all of our origin points. Like that, if we're going to pick one, we came from God, okay? But like there are important parts along or places along the journey of soul in this quantum multidimensional reality that we are living and are. So this flower is connected to a home, what would feel like kind of a home world to you, and is very prevalent in your field. Like I'm seeing your energetic biofield right now, the Akasha is showing me. And the song of this flower is interweaving with your energetic signature. So very, very important for you to be in connection with herbs, vegetable garden, flowers here when it's appropriate, but you always have this, it feels, I'm going to say it's like Venusian, but Venusian is not enough of a descriptor. It's associated with a word that has been lost to our history that I will feel into later. That is something that we would consider a star from here that was actually somewhere that beings lived. And this would be like it feels six-ish, like a sixth dimensional place that you spent a lot of time or are spending a lot of time. Anyway, so that flower is really important. That color, frequency, and signature is super important for you to call in. When you are feeling fatigued, the Akash is mentioning connecting with this essence because it's so attuned to your own original divine source energy and essence. It's going, that attunement that you can do yourself quickly and easily is going to help any sort of flaws, or I'm tired, or I just can't get out of this funk kind of an energy. Accepting the calling to the greater, more expanded realms of work that you're doing with and for the mother, understanding that you are an aspect of the living embodiment of the mother creation impulse, creator creation impulse, is going to be paramount in helping you determine what to do with all of the things you've been called to do, all of these amazing ideas, successful business ventures, really great ideas, ways to help people, ways to connect with people. It is in actually coming into the fullness of the anointing of being a mother creatress that you are then going to be able to further. They're kind of showing me like a flow chart. The Akasha is showing me a flow chart in which you can sort of prioritize what is most rewarding and nourishing for you and the people that you're connecting with, helping and serving, and what gives you joy. And it's not that this is like a service to self thing. It's in cultivating your own joy. You have that much more energy, grace, and reserves to serve the others around you and come into stewardship of the earth and of the people that you're in community with. Business that you have is important and successful and will continue. So I'm talking about like your online stuff, building websites, email. It's like you've got a great thing going. The recommendation is to feel into how much time and energy you have to offer it. The Akash wants me to say that the local business, that successful local business that you have, that you own, that you run, is also, as you've been feeling into this, it's something that you can take a little bit more of a hands-off approach with. It's running well. You have the right people in place for it to be moving along pretty seamlessly without you having to be hands in everything where it's taking up several hours of your day. Like, yes, you're still going to be involved with that, but I'm seeing that as one area that you've already poured into. You've already helped with that birthing and creation process, and it's doing well. So you can still be involved. They're not saying it's like you're just unavailable and not doing that anymore at all, but taking a step back to focus on the other things that you may be feeling called to assist with creation. The school, so now they're showing me a lot of your work with the school is indeed a beautiful use of like the lovely intellectual mind, the ideas that you have. You've managed to fundraise a lot for the local school. You are a respected member of that community, of the school board, or I think school board, right? Or PTA or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what I'm feeling though is the Akash would like me to offer to you, now that you've done this for a while and you've helped establish certain programs, what are you getting out of it? What kind of not that it's not reciprocal, but for the time that you're giving to it, is it something that you can see yourself wanting to do for another term or another 10 years? And these are just questions for your consideration. And then also evaluate if you weren't as involved with that, especially as your children get older, and aren't attending that school anymore, or getting old enough that they're kind of becoming their own people fully. They're wanting me to ask you, as you take a step back and you evaluate the time that's going towards that, how would you best like to use that time to both serve the world, but also yourself? Making sure you're taking plenty of time for rest, as we've talked about, and to do playful things, pleasurable things, listen to an audiobook, go for a walk, take a bath, allow your nervous system to deload after being so busy for so many years. And really, so this is an opportunity for you to evaluate your no. And it's all flowing really fast. This is like a current part of your initiation with the purple and the green, is evaluating your yes and your no. So really, really feels crucial that everybody around you understands that what chooses to do is always successful. And they know that people have internalized that. So there's always a pull at, well, can help make this work, or we can get the money we need if we bring her in. And it's not, nobody's intentionally being extractive, but it has created a situation in which I feel what the Akasha is showing me is people project, or a system will project its desires or desired outcome onto you or into your field. And you get excited about it because you do know the answer and you can see the map for how to get the desired outcome, but it leaves you kind of out of the equation. It leaves like your actual time, energy, and life out of the equation. And it's fine to be a conduit for all of this to flow through. But what I'm seeing is potentially a tendency to not know what your yes and your no in your body feels like. And instead, with all the ideas that you have, it's coming through the mind. And so you're over, what the Akasha says is you've been overcommitting. And that's some of what I think the current purple and green initiations are about, is like feeling the yes and no in your body, even though you've got the map for how you can get this desired outcome for somebody or for a system. Allowing more time to connect with your, to bring the mind and heart, or mind and womb into coherence, and talk with the rest of the body about like, what kind of energy do I have? How do I want my day to be structured? If I include this, where will this time come from? Does that make sense? Kind of a,
Yeah, really been working on
on that.
Setting up helping organizations or people set up systems that don't have to involve me.
Excellent.
Like
good.
It and being able to make a plan to be able to walk away. But
that's great.
Have it be successful.
Yes. Yes, that's great. The offer from the Akasha is just to consider how much energy and time do you want to spend on even helping everybody establish the plan to make it be successful without you. You and it's just a choice by choice, or moment by moment decision. As far as like, what are you supposed to be doing? Okay, now your guidance, like your spiritual guidance team, just walked in. Linda Howe calls this the soul, or like the loved ones. I usually call this soul family, because they are often people or energies that we've been connected with eternally, but they're not necessarily an ancestor in this body. It can be both. So they just kind of came into the back of this Akashic chamber. Your Akashic chamber right now looks like the inside of, well, it looks like the inside of a seashell. I had one that was kind of this color recently, but yours is massive. So this is like a beautiful, like that peachy pink that you would see inside a seashell, but it feels like we are literally in a liquid plasma love that is this color and shape of a massive, beautiful seashell. So I'm going to offer that to you so you can feel that visualization. And your guidance team just walked in. And they are kind of like made a semicircle in the back of the chamber. Some look very human, some look like energy bodies or light bodies, some look to be animal archetypes. We have a few very expanded high dimensional healers that are closer to the energetic split of source, and are thus a little harder to describe in human terms. So you've got a big range of loving energetic assistance. So what is Cassie supposed to be doing? Cassie is supposed to be being. So ultimately, you took a small part of the vastness of the soul that you are, and you decided to come with that piece to fall into matter, or come into time, into this realm of a physical holographic reality, and experience with part of yourself, human, lifetimes and human experiences. And so ultimately, you are just supposed to be being, and then there's a whole lot of leeway given as to how in your human you choose to be and to do. So they're unrolling a tall woman in, she's quite tall, taller than we are now, maybe like 7 foot tall. She has long reddish blonde hair, and she's wearing like a white dress that makes me think gingham. Makes me think gingham, even though it's not like a gingham print. That's the feel of it. And like tall laced black boots. Like it feels like 1800s clothes, but she's much taller than people would have been then. So there's some dimensional overlay, different worlds. She just unrolled, like she pulled out a kind of a scroll and unrolled it. And this is like your a visualization or representation of your incarnation plan. And I am not permitted to see all of it. They're going to highlight and show me some things on it. And you are able to connect with your own Akash and your own loving guidance and expanded selves, the expanded higher selves that you are, to receive and retrieve more information from this. The first thing that I see is to play out multiple lessons and experiences with your spouse. There's a fair amount of, they're showing me the scales of justice or the balancing scales. So there are like 3 lessons, if you will, that you came into gather to learn, to integrate, to bring fully into the body based on experiences that you had in that you have had or are having in other quantum iterations of your existence together. So that's a big thing that you intended to do. Number 2 that they're allowing me to see is finding yes and no in the body, which is what we were kind of just talking about, finding a full yes and a full no, and experiencing the mutability. Like I'm seeing that similar to something I've experienced is when somebody else wants something very desperately and they project it into my field. I when I was a younger woman would get confused and think that I wanted what they wanted, which was usually me, before I even had an opportunity to decide what it was I wanted or feel into what I wanted. So there's a mutability about people projecting into your energetic field and into the mental realm in particular about what they would like from you. And this is all by design for you to learn your yes and no and come into setting appropriate, healthy boundaries and parameters so that your own energy field and energy system is flowing in like a really beautiful and nourishing way. And you ultimately make the determination in each case of like what you're able to offer and do. There is a lovely, beautiful Clarabelle. She's saying Clarabelle, beautiful dairy cow. What are the black and white ones called? Holstein, is that Holstein?
Sure. I don't know.
The black and white ones that are like the typical milk cow. She's present as part of the ancestors or soul family. She just stepped forward. She has a beautiful bell on. It just surprised me because I didn't notice her at first. A lot of times until they come forward, I'm only seeing vague representations of them. Oh, okay. She says, this is funny. Kind of the quantum giggle or the constant humor, divine comedy of the Akashic records is that here she is, and she's a loving representation of a soul aspect that you have connected with in different animals and different incarnations, but she really wants to be clear that dairy is not your friend. So that I think you already know that, but that was what she just said. As you are seeking to optimize health and wellness, there are like they switch to health, like showing me ghee, showing me small amounts of hard cheese. These things are okay, but overall milk, like ice cream, yogurt. Yogurt, I think they want me to tell you, is a scam. It's not that we can't eat yogurt if we tolerate it well, but the idea that it actually promotes gut health is not true. Those probiotics aren't enough to affect our microbiome, and they just go through. But what I am seeing is that lactobacillus, this has come through for me personally and two other people. Lactobacillus can be destabilizing to other important flora and fauna, if you will. And lactobacillus can cause some issues, and I'm seeing that it somehow contributes in some people to yeast, and that's what they want me to tell you. And yogurt also has too much, I guess it must be lactose and other components in it yet, that it causes a mucus reaction. So what I'm being shown is some of these things that were presented to as like super healthy. Sour cream is probably okay. So here's like, I can eat lots of sour cream and I'm fine. Yogurt is a problem for me. And I'm seeing that there's a biofilm mucus reaction that your body specifically has that they wanted to make sure you're aware of when you consume too much dairy. So that was interesting. This beautiful, beautiful dairy cow has also been a dog and a hawk and a fox and a cat in different versions of your existences that you have connected with very deeply as an animal companion. So she just kind of phased into each one of those representations.